Look at the sky. We are not alone. The whole universe is friendly to us and conspires only to give the best to those who dream and work. It is far better to be alone than to be in bad company. The strongest man in the world is he who stands most alone. The time you feel lonely is the time you most need to be by yourself. Pray that your loneliness may spur you into finding something to live for, great enough to die for. If you make friends with yourself, you will never be alone. You come into the world alone. You go out of the world alone. Yet it seems to me you are more alone while living than even going and coming. A man is born alone and dies alone, and he experiences the good and bad consequences of his karma alone, and he goes alone to hell or the supreme abode. To go out with the setting sun on an empty beach is to truly embrace your solitude. Then stirs the feeling infinite, so felt in solitude, where we are least alone. Loneliness adds beauty to life. It puts a special burn on sunsets and make night air smell better. Loneliness is my least favorite thing about life. The thing that I am most worried about is just being alone without anybody to care for or someone who will care for me. Every man must do two things alone. He must do his own believing and his own dying. Life could be wonderful if people would leave you alone. We are all sentenced to solitary confinement inside our own skins for life. Inside myself is a place where I live all alone, and that is where I renew my springs that never dry up. I have so many different personalities in me, and I still feel lonely. If you are lonely when you are alone, you are in bad company. All men's miseries derive from not being able to sit in a quiet room alone. In solitude, the mind gains strength and learns to lean upon itself. The best part about being alone is that you really don't have to answer to anybody. You do what you want. The eternal quest of the individual human being is to shatter his loneliness. Alone, let him constantly meditate in solitude on that which is salutary for his soul. For he who meditates in solitude attains supreme bliss. I finally faced the fact that it isn't a crime not having friends. Being alone means you have fewer problems. Be able to be alone. Lose not the advantage of solitude and the society of the self. I paint self-portraits because I am so often alone because I am the person I know best. To dare to live alone is the rarest courage, since there are many who had rather meet their bitterest enemy in the field than their own hearts in their closet. I really enjoy being single again. I spent a lot of time in a relationship, and the nearer we came to the end, the more difficult it got. You don't see things clearly as long as you are still involved. A man can be himself only so long as he is alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom, for it is only when he is alone that he is really free. It's often just enough to be with someone. I don't need to touch them, not even talk. A feeling passes between you both. You are not alone. I have to be alone very often. I'd be quite happy if I spent from Saturday night until Monday morning alone in my apartment. That's how I refuel. Associate with men of good quality if you esteem your own reputation, for it is better to be alone than in bad company. You only grow when you are alone. Solitude is independence. Solitude vivifies, isolation kills. Nothing makes us so lonely as our secrets. Let your mind alone and see what happens. Being alone is very difficult.